This is the regular City Council meeting of the City of Rockport for Tuesday, July the 11th, 2023. I will ask that you stand with us as we pledge allegiance to the flag. Mayor Pro Tem Atkins.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Have a seat. All right. A couple of things that are fun for us to do. I'm going to do that. But first, I want to introduce somebody. I was told a little while ago, be sure and introduce our new finance director. Robbie Sorrell is our new finance director. He's just come on yesterday. I met him yesterday, and he came back today, so we're doing well. I appreciate having him here, and I'm sure that we've got some other people that really appreciate him being here because we've had a lot of people doing double duty trying to take up the slack, and we appreciate you. Thank you. We look forward to working with you. All right. Each year, the Board of Directors from the American Red Cross chooses one business, company, or entity that has a track record of consistently providing outstanding services based on Red Cross principles for several years. The business, company, or entity must have applied these principles for the benefit of the public. The City of Rockport Parks and Leisure Services Department at their Rockport Fulton Community Pool facility has a history of providing quality swimming lessons to Red Cross certified instructors with those instructors and training and employing professional lifeguards that are Red Cross certified and have prevented drownings and saved lives. The Rockport Fulton Community Pool Services staff and leadership exemplify the principles and values of the American Red Cross. The 2023 Guardian Partnership Award was presented to the City of Rockport Parks and Leisure Services Department on June 27th, 2023, and we have a plaque to give to the director. And I look forward to doing this, and all of his employees, the guys in the blue, guys and girls in the blue shirts, y'all come up.
Darrell Dean cultivated that relationship with the American Red Cross and all he does. He's our aquatics pool manager.
Y'all come over here and get your picture taken. Mike's got to go. Why don't we do that?
That's how I want to go to work every day. Flip-flops and shorts. I was going to say I will. Like,
yeah. Last year we were hurt.
do I need my eyes checked or is that blurry?
It's a little blurry.
Okay. I thought I was. What's in that? No, it's fine because I have it.
It is amazing to have people who make our children and adults safe when they're at that pool. And they are very, very talented and willing to do that, and we appreciate them more than they know. We are blessed to have them with the park, working with the park department. Thank you, young ladies. All right, in that same vein, on July 1st, 2023, Lifeguard Madison Brown was on duty at the splash pool. Small child was alone in the shallow water when the child fell forward face down. The child was unable to right herself. Lifeguard Brown noticed this immediately and responded to the child, picked her up from the water. Interestingly, the child was wearing arm floaties, but the water was shallow enough that instead of providing buoyancy, the floaties actually kept her face down in the water. The child's parent observed the assessment and helped determine the child did not ingest any significant amount of water. Lifeguard Brown's quick professional actions prevented a drowning. Lifeguard Madison Brown is awarded the Lifeguard Rescue Status Award. If you will come over here, we will take care of that. I did. Thank you. Thank you so very much. It is a blessing to our town to have you worship with us, Secretary. Okay, also July 4th, 2023, lifeguard Justin Reikers was on duty at the competition pool. The young boy was in deep water and ceased making forward progress. The boy then began calling for help. Lifeguard Justin Reikers quickly entered the water and reached the child. While swimming to the child, lifeguard Justin Reikers spoke to the boy, gave instructions to calm him down and get him to continue attempting to swim. The boy began to make progress and with minimal further assistance was able to get to the wall. Lifeguard Reikers exited the pool with the boy and determined that the boy had not gone underwater nor taken in any water. Lifeguard Justin Reikers' quick action helped prevent a drowning. Lifeguard Justin Reikers is awarded the Lifeguard Rescue Award. And is he here? I'm seeing his brother. All right. He would a whole lot rather be here than out in that heat doing football. Yes. We appreciate it. Appreciate it. Very much. Thank you. This is good having you.
And here's why. There's three kinds of drowning. Fatal, you go in the water and you die. Non-fatal and dry drownings. Just so I get this right, a dry drowning is when somebody takes in water, but it doesn't affect them immediately. They go home, and sometime later on they have continuous coughing or wheezing, lightheadedness, sleeplessness, or sleepiness, confusion, hard breathing, or foam in the nose or mouth. And that's a dry drowning. So when a lifeguard reacts to somebody, they get in there and they get them out before they went in the water or before they needed to be pulled out from the submerged, they prevented a drowning, which may be a dry drowning. The other one is a non-fatal drowning, and there's a lot of information here, but real quick, there's three categories of non-fatal drowning. It all has to do with going underwater for just a brief period of time. But mild impairment with breathing, and then there's no decline in their condition. A moderate impairment with difficulty breathing, and sometimes disorientation may have some decline later on. This could be hours, and it says up to 2 or 3 days later. And then severe impairment would be stop breathing in their sleep, go in and out of consciousness, suffer some type of dementia, and have severe decline. And that's called a non-fatal drowning. So when we use the term drowning, we don't mean somebody went underwater and
There are these three types: fatal, non-fatal, and dry, and all of them can be severe or ultimately fatal. And that's exactly why, as humble as these two lifeguards were, that they hardly had to do anything, they trained to be proactive, and they did it right, and they prevented a drowning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. To establish presence of order, we'll have roll call of the council, Ward 1. Here. Yeah, she's here.
Yes, aye. Sorry. Here.
Ward 2.
I didn't hear you. Here.
Ward 3. Here. Ward 4.
Here.
Mayor here. We do have a quota. Next on the item is citizens to be heard. At this time, comments limited to 3 minutes will be taken from the audience from persons who have signed the speaker's card located at the table in the back of the training room at the service center and delivered to the city secretary before the meeting begins, or written comments received by 4 o'clock on the day of the meeting on any agenda item or any subject matter. It will be read at the meeting. Persons wishing to address the council and who have registered using the citizen participation form will have up to 3 minutes to speak. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, council may not discuss or take any action on any item that has not been posted on the agenda. While civil public criticism is not prohibited, disorderly conduct or disturbance of the peace, as prohibited by law, shall be cause for the chair to terminate the offender's time to speak. I have 3 cards for people wishing to speak on an item not on the agenda. First off, Ken Barron. If you'll come to the microphone and give your name and address, we'd appreciate it.
I'm Ken Barron. I live at 402 Cascades Drive in Rockport Country Club, and I'm a director of the HOA in the country club. And I'm here to address the same issue I've been here on multiple times before. I would like to have budget money included in this upcoming year's budget to resolve some of the projects necessary to eliminate the flooding in the country club when we have major rain events. And I've got a handout here, but Teresa says she's going to put it in your mailbox, so you'll have to read it later. But basically, it provides the engineering cost, the construction cost, and the reasons why we need to implement each of the projects. And in total, they don't amount to an awful lot of money when compared to the Hole 11 project that was just completed by the city. That's a much more expensive project than the total of all these other ones. And I appreciate the city implementing the Hole 11 project as something that's definitely needed in order to eliminate the flooding problem, but by itself, it doesn't do much to stop any of the flooding. Basically, it eliminates the flooding around the Hole 11, or pond, Hole 11 area, the pond there, and we didn't have any houses that actually flooded there. But all the ponds upstream of Hole 11 pond will continue to flood like they did during our July 2021 flood. There's nothing we've done to remedy the flooding in that location, and we haven't done anything to remedy the flooding in the central drainage area around Hole 10 and the clubhouse area. But if we implement these projects, we'll basically eliminate all the major flooding within the country club. And therefore, I want to make sure we have money budgeted to take care of that this year, this coming year in the budget. And if there's money available in this year's budget to start on any of these projects, you have a breakdown of what the costs are for each of the projects, including engineering versus construction, and you can pick which ones we can start on this year if the money is available. So I appreciate if you take a look at the handout that you'll get in your mailbox and see if we can find some way to remedy the flooding problem, because it's not going to go away on its own. We need your help too. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Barron. Next, we have Darrell Dean.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. My name is Darrell Dean. I'm the acting president of the Rockport Country Club Estates Homeowners Association. And I have a couple questions. One is, what is the timing for the 2023-24 budget hearings? We had a calendar for some time indicated there would be a budget workshop on July the 11th, at which we would hear a presentation being made about the drainage projects for the country club. My question is, when will these workshops begin and as a public hearing? Because we would like to obviously be there, present our input and the things that Ken just mentioned of several projects that are needed in the country club. Country club's a wonderful place to live, and many of us in this room have invested a lot of time and money. We want to make sure that the drainage problems and all those that Ken just mentioned are at least addressed. So we just look for the opportunity to appear before a hearing or a budget meeting in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Skip Carrier.
My name is Skip Carrier, 122 Cedar Ridge Drive in Rockport, in the country club. We're having a extremely dangerous situation with the deer. In light of the fact that we had the guy in the county mauled by dogs, the deer are so aggressive that we can't go out in our yard. It's because we have a 24-pound dog. Our next door neighbor has an 11-pound dog, and it was attacked Sunday on the porch going into the house. I think this is more what I'm doing is date stamping my problem, because it's going to come to a hard head. Someone is going to walk down the street with a dog on a leash, and naturally they're going to gather the dog up, and the deer is going to do some severe damage. Last November, my wife and I were in the backyard in a little garden we had back there, and she was on a walker because of surgery. I was crippled because of different kind of surgery. And deer came, tried to get to the dog. Well, first thing it did was to go to my wife and get in her arms, but she's got a walker. How is she going to work? The only reason I didn't dispatch the deer then was because she needed me because of her condition. But it's going to come to a point when they come within 3 or 4 feet of you to push you. And I know what the problem is. The problem is they leave the fawn there, and they're protecting their fawn. I know the state of Texas really looks after their wildlife. The deer belong to the state of Texas. I had the game warden at the house day before yesterday, and he gave me his number. But when these things happen, they're going to happen. Don't have time to call on speed dial. Something has to be done, and I don't know what has to be done. But I'm doing this, coming here. Can't write a letter to the paper, because 3 or 4 people will read it. I feel it coming here. At least I get an opportunity to date stamp that you've been warned. And God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Carrier. I have 2 people wanted to address an item on the agenda. It's item number 11 on debt. One has sent a form to be read, and Brundrett will read that from his ward.
Patrick Kane, 1123 East Cedar Street, Rockport. Agenda item number 11. Please say no to taking on new debt. If this loan was going to be exercised at all, it should have been when the city needed to free up cash to cover additional costs for City Hall construction. That time has passed, and the city has been able to pay its bills without drawing from this loan. We have taken on enough debt over the last several years. It is time to say no to more new debt.
Also, Mr. Scott Hyme, if you come to the microphone, please, sir.
Scott Hyme, 1901, let's tilt that just a bit. 1901 FM 3036, and again, this is about the loan. After Harvey, I left for 1 day, and I came back. Our house was in good shape, and I spent a lot of time helping everyone I could. I arranged work parties, did the manual labor, but I got a chance to observe. And one of the things I observed was there's a subset of people who were looking to the insurance. And I tried to help people negotiate insurance as well. It was a hard time. But they looked at it as a chance to remodel their homes, a chance to get things back better than they were before. And it caused a lot of hardship. It caused a lot of, mental anguish. They just got locked in on the idea that I might as well, as long as the house is torn up, remodel, even add on. This loan, as I understand it, was for us as part of the storm recovery. Unlike some people, if we still have legitimate needs that are related to storm recovery, borrow the money. It's cheap money. I hope we don't have to. We've been able to not do that all this time. But what I would like to not see is us take advantage of it. The lure of cheap money is strong. And for us to say, well, as long as we have some cheap money, we can shuffle things around and use this as an opportunity to do something we couldn't do otherwise. We're going to build back better than before. Build back better is a nice sounding thing, but that's not what this money, unless I'm mistaken, that's not what this money was for. Just be honest with it though. Be honest with yourselves. If it's not storm recovery related, don't borrow the money. If it is, don't miss the opportunity. And if you don't mind me stealing a few seconds, I walk the path over by Walmart every morning, and I pass behind the pool, and they play some very cool music. And I hope you all will pass on to whoever's in charge to tell them keep it up. Don't let the old people get you down. They play good music. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hyme. Appreciate it. Okay. Next item on the agenda is consent agenda. All consent agenda items listed are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless council members so request, in which event the item will be removed from the council agenda and considered in normal sequence on the agenda. Does anyone wish to remove either of the items from the agenda? If not, do I have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I have a second.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further question or debate? If not, we'll call for a vote. Ward 1.
Aye.
Ward 2.
Aye.
Ward 3.
Aye.
Ward 4.
Aye.
Mayor, aye. It's unanimous. Passes. Next item on the agenda, deliberate and act to confirm mayoral appointments to city council liaisons to various boards, committees, and commissions. One of the things we try to do every year is when we have boards such as planning and zoning and other boards, the tree committee and so forth, we appoint liaisons and backup liaisons to those committees. And we try to do that, spreading it out over all of the people so that nobody gets too many of them to do, and try to keep it as much as we can within the area that they may live and represent. And we tried to get that done. I have sent these to the council members and they had no questions at the time. I will give them an opportunity, if there's any question y'all have right now, to go back over these. And if y'all want to hear who they are, I'll read them to you in just a second. If not, they can approve. Any questions?
I have no questions.
Are y'all interested in hearing who these folks are? I figured there might be some people. Let me read these and we'll get a motion in a minute. Aransas Pathways, the council liaison is the Mayor J-Row. The alternate is Councilmember Hale. Coastal Bend Bays and Estuaries, the liaison is Councilmember Rangel. The alternate is Mayor Pro Tem Hatman. Coastal Bend Council of Government, council liaison is Mayor J-Row. Alternate liaison, Mayor Pro Tem Hatman. Economic Development Council, liaison is Mayor J-Row. Alternate liaison is Mayor Pro Tem Hatman. Parks and Leisure Services Advisory Board, council liaison is Councilman Brundrett. Liaison alternate is Member Hale. Planning and Zoning Commission, the council liaison will be Member Hale. Alternate will be Member Rangel. Rockport Cultural Arts District, Council Member Rangel. Alternate Mayor Pro Tem Hatman. Rockport Fulton Chamber of Commerce, Mayor Pro Tem Hatman. Alternate Member Brundrett. Tree Landscape Committee, Mayor Pro Tem Hatman. Liaison alternate Member Brundrett. Building Standards Commission, Zoning Board of Adjustment, council liaison Member Brundrett. Alternate Mayor Pro Tem Hatman. Stormwater Management Advisory Committee, liaison Mayor J-Row. Alternate Member Hale. Tourism Development Council, council liaison Pro Tem Mayor Hatman. Council member alternate Rangel. Swimming Pool Advisory Committee, council liaison Member Rangel. And alternate council member Hale. If I have no questions about those, do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as read.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further question? If not, we'll call for a vote. Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
Mayor, aye. Passes unanimously. The next one's a lot like it. Next item on the agenda, number 9, deliberate and act to reappoint or appoint members to various City of Rockport boards, committees, and commissions. In going over these, we had 7 members in each. Some were up for renewal and asked to be renewed. Others were staying until next year. As it stands right now, Parks and Leisure Services Advisory Board has got 7 members, including 1 reassignment and others that were not up until next year. Planning and Zoning Commission has 3 who are reassigned, who are already on the board, and 4 who are still there. The Tree and Landscape Committee has 3 reappointed and 4 who are still on the board, and some up until 2025. The Zoning Board of Adjustment and Building Standards Commission has 3 reappointments, 4 who are still on that board. So all of these boards and commissions are full unless there's other action to be taken by the council. What is your pleasure? We have 2 additional people who have asked about being on these boards. They are all full right now. They will be maintained and held until there are vacancies on those boards.
I move to approve item 9 with the appointments as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further question or debate?
I would just like to, Mayor, if I may, just like to say thank you to the citizens who have stepped up to serve on these boards, and those that have applied, that, you know, if there are vacancies that do come up, we will try to most definitely get them in. And if you see, the citizens out there, if you see your wards not being represented in some of these, maybe it could be an opportunity for you to get involved in local government at some means here. You know, it may be the Parks Board, maybe whatever you want to be part of, but it's a good way to get started. That's all.
Councilmember Reikers.
Yeah, as far as the members that are currently on, if one of the applicants, is there a possibility of one of the applicants can replace the person within?
If the council determines they want to replace one, we can go replace it with someone.
I would just, for planning and zoning, know one of the applicants is from Ward 2. My only thing is, it would be nice to have that as equal as possible representation across all boards. And I know that there isn't representation from Ward 2 on planning and zoning, and we do have an applicant that we can consider.
Anyone else have any concern of that? Question would be, do we replace somebody that's on the board and has been on the board and has agreed to stay on there, or do we wait until there is a vacancy on that board? That is totally up to the council. Do I have a motion to remove anyone from that board and replace it with another person?
So one of my self-assigned projects is to restructure the way the boards are appointed so that every ward is represented. I should have that ready to go by the next appointment. Yeah, I mean, you're certainly welcome to do what you're doing here, but just to speak to Councilmember Rangel's concern, we will change it to where every council member has to appoint someone from their ward so that the representation is spread equally. I just didn't have time to get it done this time.
That has been a concern with councils before, and we've had trouble getting some from some wards, depending on which board it is. And as we said, we had talked with city manager prior to tonight, and believe that we can get to a point that we can have y'all appoint somebody when we get them on the board. But it's council prerogative. Do you want to take any action to change these? What do you want to do?
Mayor, if I may, I just comment since it's my ward. So I 100% agree. We've been trying to get good ward representation on all of the committees. We've made some good progress over the last year or two prior to Councilman Villa leaving, And so at one point, we had almost nobody from Ward 2 on any of them. So I think we still have room to go. With regard to P and Z, I think that's a vital one. Ward 2 is going to be one of the highest growth wards. When Mayor asked if I would serve as the council liaison, I said, of course, Mayor. But I think that's one of the things that I really want to dive into is, finding out more about, who's actually participating, are the ones that are there producing. Honestly, I just don't have an answer for that, but I've got no cause to remove anybody at this point. Although for sake of having representation, that would be great, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we've got the right people, regardless of where they live. So I'm okay with the recommendation as it stands, but definitely support the idea of trying to make sure we've got the proper mix in the future.
Okay.
You could appoint the applicant as an alternate if you would like.
Is there, so if we do the recommendations, when you come back to us saying a couple of council meetings and you want to change it up, or can we still then at that time take it off? Or is it better just to table this until we're ready to actually take an action on this?
I would do the reappointments so you have active, legitimate boards. I probably wouldn't bring something back to you until the expiration date is here June 1 before that date. So then it would go into the effect for the coming appointment. They're appointed 1 year at a time, and I would just phase it in with appointments from there. It'll be like the council switch that we have on the terms.
Yeah, because I agree with what you're saying,
Right.
And Danielle, I also agree what you're saying. It's just, I'm not so far up to who is not participating. I'm not ready to say, hey, you're off the board at this moment. That makes me a little uncomfortable to say that just to replace someone who, we're not 100% sure right now.
I reviewed the attendance. It seems pretty, they fairly attended most of the meetings, the ones that are up for it, but I wouldn't be against an alternate, it's your board, but I just feel like there should be fair representation. I wish that we could have redesigned this sooner, but if it's going to be something that can only be redesigned next year and established then, it is what it is.
You can certainly remove and reappoint at any time. If you, halfway through the year, if Councilmember Hale decides that there's members that are not participating, she can certainly bring it to council and say, these members are not participating, they don't show up, they haven't been in the last 5 meetings, whatever it is, I want to remove them and reappoint them, and then that is up to a vote for you. Those people serve at your pleasure.
And as I say, I understand your concern, and it's been there for a long time. What choice we have?
So I guess you're not gonna.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Danielle.
No, I was going to say, can I ask a quick question? Is it customary that if we have a new applicant in the past, haven't you done at least an interview with that individual to see if they meet the expectation for that committee? So in this case, was that particular applicant contacted or interviewed?
We have done that. Also, all of the board meetings are public meetings, and anyone that's interested and would like to be on one of those can come to those meetings and see if it's something they would really like to do, attend it and sit through the things. And then if there is a need for an alternate, and those things happen all the time, people have illnesses and they're going to be gone for weeks and weeks, and we certainly could do that. But I think that if we encourage anyone that wants to be on these boards and would like to sign up for any of them, please come see us and show up for the meetings and see if the ones that you're interested in are what you would like to do, because you may find out that's not the one you want to go sit in all the time. But I would encourage her to do that, whether we take action that removes anyone, replaces or not. I think it's great that somebody wants to do it because we don't have a lot that want to. And attending these meetings is perfectly a legitimate thing to do. I think they learn a lot from being there.
On P&Z currently, there is not an alternate. It's seven members and no alternates.
And that's set by charter, is that correct?
Yeah.
So,
It's 7 members, yeah.
I guess the question comes up to, are we gonna feel comfortable, especially if you're saying you did not interview this applicant? Yes, you put an application in, but you are not able to talk to them. Are we comfortable putting them as an alternate? And at this point in time? Or, I mean, would it be a possibility if we can, is it a possibility to make a motion to have them as alternate based on what, if they had come in for an interview and they are qualified to sit in those
Sure, you
seats?
can do, you know,
I mean, again,
an alternate if they meet the qualifications.
I have no idea on the applicant. I had been
What's the applicant's
contacted.
name you're wondering about? I know there was 2 other ones, I just want to make sure. that-
Yeah, one I believe was from Ward 4, and this one was from Ward 2, Christy Thompson, 2201 Prairie Road.
Okay.
I think this one was the one that was received this morning. Or what's today?
Christie's not in there because her
Yesterday.
application was received in after the packet went out.
Yeah.
Need some form of action, we need to make a decision, somebody make a motion or a
I guess
suggestion.
I make a motion to, wait, hold on.
Hold on,
There's already a motion.
There's a
Oh,
motion.
it's a
and a second.
motion?
To approve the roster as presented.
That's right, sorry.
Did we?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there was a second?
Remember here.
So you can make a motion to amend.
I make a motion to amend the motion that we can accept the alternate based on an interview with the mayor and based on the qualifications of the application. And let the mayor make the final, I would say let him make that decision. I don't know if he can come back to council or not. I guess that's a question, sorry. Because it would come back to second reading, right?
It needs a second to.
No, I mean, it would, after we make, if this motion was approved, it would come back for a second reading.
Correct.
Okay, so I guess my motion is,
Well, no, I'm sorry, this is not an ordinance. This is-
so this is not coming up.
Yeah, correct, this is not subject to two reading requirement. This is not an ordinance.
Okay.
being done.
I'm trying to word my motion correctly here.
You're making a motion to.
I'm making a motion to the amendment to accept the alternate based on qualifications due to an interview with the mayor,
Right.
is what my,
Okay, do I have a second to the
I'll second.
alternate motion? I have a second to that motion. Have motion second. Any further question or debate?
Which candidates are we speaking of? Which, there's 2 applications.
Christy Thompson.
Okay.
No,
And-
hold on. I'm sorry?
It was Christy
The one
Thompson.
from Ward,
The one from Ward 2,
From Ward 2?
for P&Z.
I don't have that one, but that's fine.
I've got
So is the debate open on the second motion?
Yes, to amend the motion.
Okay. I mean, my comment is, at this point, I mean, we received the application after we posted the agenda. We haven't had a chance to really review it, consider it. The charter calls for 7 members. There's no intent that I can recall for an alternate. I can't support this right now. I'm not horrifically opposed to it by any means. If she's a viable candidate, she's not known to me, and we got it after the fact.
And P&Z is one of the few committees that has very specific requirements to serve on that board, so it does have to be vetted before they can be appointed to that board.
Yeah.
okay, we do have a motion and a second to the amended motion. Any further question on that, or we will ask for a vote on that
And I
motion?
will say that P&Z is a charter commission, it's the only one that y'all have.
Yeah.
And it does provide for 7 members, doesn't provide for alternates.
Okay, that's my question.
So I just want to make that as a caveat there, that there is no charter provision that allows for an alternate.
Yeah, I think
Alright,
this was,
we
when
hear
we
that.
went through the charter amendment process, this was the discussion, is that by leaving it in the charter, we are so fixed on the rules, we can't change it, so, and that was the one that didn't pass, is that correct? Right. So it stays as is, so, anyways, I
So I
made my
guess this
point.
makes mine null and void then.
You can withdraw it, your amendment.
We can
I'll
vote
just-
on the motion.
I'll just withdraw my
We would have
motion.
to remove somebody.
Yeah.
I think that would be the right.
So Brian
Withdraw
just
your
has
second.
to keep it.
Okay.
Can we
Okay.
side table this and bring it back next
Absolutely.
meeting after she has been gone through, like, had an interview with the mayor?
Of course.
And then that way we're giving a fair consideration?
You can always appoint everyone else, all the other ones, table just the P and Z one. You have that option as well.
Okay. But,
Postpone, I'm sorry.
but then my question is that then still an acting committee if we don't appoint them today?
Well, everybody's not.
You have.
Do you have enough people to have?
Yeah, we're gonna have a quorum.
There's 4 of 7.
Yeah, then 4 is, you've got you got 4, there's enough for a quorum if they all show up.
If they all show up.
If they all show up to a meeting, then it would still be a quorum.
Okay, my other question would be, what would be the timeline if we, would you guys be able to have it by the next council meeting to have that vetted and looked at?
Of course.
Okay, we are back to the original motion, as I understand.
The motion
The
is.
amended motion was withdrawn.
Yes, sir. So the motion is.
Motion is to accept those, the 7 as presented.
Right.
Is there any other question? I will call for a vote, Ward 1.
And this is just for planning and zoning or the entire full?
That motion
It's
wasn't
the
made,
7.
correct?
It's for all.
It's for all the boards, yes. It's for all 7 on the boards, yes. All 4 boards.
Aye.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
Mayor, aye. Next item on the agenda, item number 10. This is one everybody's been waiting for. I can see the smiles on people's faces. Now, if I get the second book back over here. Item number 10, here to deliberate and act on request for fiscal year 2023-2024 grant funds from the Hotel Occupancy Tax Fund account for the following entities, and we will take these one at a time. So when I call you, come up. You've got 3 minutes. And first on the list, Rockport Fulton Chamber of Commerce Marketing.
Long evening ahead. Shannon Biggerstaff with the Chamber of Commerce Tourism Director. Of course, you all know Shelley, our president and CEO. We did submit 3 applications for the Rockport Fulton Chamber of Commerce, the Seafair Festival, and the Hummingbirds celebration. I do plan to be really brief. Can we combine the 3 while we're here, or would that be okay?
If that will keep y'all
Brief?
so you can get all, yeah, you can take 3 minutes for
All
all
right, okay.
those 3. But
So basically on the, first I'm going to address the Rockport Fulton Chamber application, and what we did include was a 22-23 marketing plan as backup documentation, as well as the marketing plan results. And what I wanted to share first off is, you mentioned the Tourism Development Council earlier. We do have a development council that does take a great deal of time with our ad agency to look at our marketing plan for the year. Our ad agency does an awesome job in terms of placement, production, rationale behind where we put our marketing. The difference between the Rockport Fulton Chambers, that we're here to market the entire community, Rockport and Fulton. So what does the chamber do to promote the communities? We're promoting the attractions, the events, the venues. We're basically promoting all the assets of the community with the intent of causing economic impact, whether that's buying a tank of gas, whether that's eating in a restaurant, and the most important is we're trying to put heads in beds. But we work with all of the folks behind us that are going to report to you this evening. We work with our local attractions and the managers and event organizers to promote what they're doing about the community. Local activities and attractions and events are promoted on a statewide tourism level, such as websites such as Tour Texas and Travel Texas and Go Texas. E-newsletter publications that we promote things that are happening in the community. We also keep the 12 text.travel information centers across the state well-versed with information on our communities. We promote, actually place TV, radio, cable ads in key feeder markets. And again, our tourism, this ad agency assist us in placing those best feeder markets. We know what our demographics are. We know who's coming to Rockport Fulton. We actually know what their interests are. We know why they're coming here. Is it in the winter? Is it in the summer? Is it in the fall? And what attractions or what events that are most interest to them. So we just work with them very closely to do that. Social media ads, mobile banner ads, travel newsletters, Texas magazines, local venues, hotels, motels, RVs, short-term rentals, all of those facilities we promote as well for both communities. Meeting sites and convention locations, we promote that as well. Basically, the chamber also, what we do throughout the year is we have conventions. Coming up very quickly, we have 100 just Ford Model T cars coming to Rockport, so for a week you may get stuck behind. Hopefully you won't, but if you do, you'll be excited about it because they'll be here for a week and they're going to be eating in our restaurants, taking advantage of our attractions and shopping. What the chamber does is we meet with this group business, whether it be class reunions, family reunions, conventions, and we put together goodie bags, information about our community, lodging, restaurants, so forth. Bam. Okay.
Bam. There went three.
There went three. Well, I'll just end
Seafair and the Hummingbird.
Yes, I'll end this note right here on the Rockport Chamber of Commerce. Basically, our funding last year was $369,000 that the city provided to us. This year, we're asking for $385,000, and mainly because just basic cost, rise of cost of production. Also, our ad agency, they have not raised their fee since 2014, nor has the chamber raised our administration fee to accomplish what we accomplish. And we'd also like to update our print media. The cost of that's about $20,000. So that's why our budget increased, if you want to look at that. Our print creative, our TV and digital and all that. Okay. So on the Seafair can be really quick. For the past several years, the chambers received $1,500 to support this event. We use these monies from the city to market the event. Seafair last year we spent, our marketing budget was around $8,700 to accomplish the same thing this year. With rising costs, it's going to be close to $11,000. This includes digital cable TV. We start marketing 3 weeks out in San Antonio and the Coastal Bend. That's print media, geo-targeting. In your application on pages 6 through 9, we did give you results of last year's event, and that includes all of the who attended, both local, regional, and out-of-state economic impact that the two-day event had on our community. In our application, we're requesting $5,000 versus the $1,500, and again, all of that would go to help market the event. That does have an economic impact. We do put heads in beds for 2 days. So that's the Seafair. Hummingbird Celebration, again, past several years, the city has contributed $1,500 to support this event. In 2022, something that we heard this last year was that the transportation we're using, all of the people that are coming in from out of the town, they take advantage of the field trips to local attractions. The biggest complaint we got was of the transportation that we were using. So we'd like to upgrade the transportation in addition to market the event, because we sold out completely. And we've also added new tours and programs to the two-day event. So in 2022, our transportation cost, and that was in the application that we submitted to you, was a little over $3,100. Marketing and advertising costs were $3,600. And again, we market outside of Rockport to bring people to Rockport, Fulton. 84% of the attendees and participants were from out of town, and they did, again, impact all hotels were full for 2 days. We did a survey. We are, again, simply asking for $5,000. We'd like to contribute those monies to transportation to upgrade those tours and do a little bit more marketing. 39 seconds left. Any questions?
Any questions? No. You're good.
Okay.
Any
Appreciate your consideration very much.
Thank you very much. Texas Maritime Museum. And we know we're going to catch you in the middle of a sentence that you really need to finish, or in some cases maybe a paragraph, but keep it as close as you can.
Well, I think everybody knows that I'm a talker, anybody who knows me well, so I will try to keep this short, I promise you. Good afternoon, Mayor Sean Rowe. J-Ro, and council members, thank you all for having me. I appreciate it, everybody. On to our numbers. We're doing very good for our second quarter for the fiscal year. We've already had 3,500 visitors in the second quarter alone for 2023. I'm sorry, that was for 2022. Actually, I miscalculated. In 2023, we had 4,000, so our numbers are continuing to increase. That is a 12.25% increase. So we are expanding our programs. We're expanding all of our education programs. We're expanding our curatorial exhibits, education, everything, and we are bringing more people in. As I've joked before, I use my 9-year-old son as a guinea pig. If he's not interested in the exhibit does not go forward. If you can bring a 9-year-old and he's interested in the exhibit, you can bring in an adult. You can bring in the kids, you can bring in the adults, you can bring in the grandparents, you bring in the families. And we've been very successful in that. We are now at the point where we are at not just pre-Harvey numbers, but pre-settlement numbers. When we were doing very well before Harvey, we were getting 10,000 people in, and then it obviously decreased to 8,000 and then to 4,000 during 2020. We're back up to about 15,000. We are expecting that we'll probably have about 17,000 this next year. Our numbers continuously go up because of our programs. Thank you to our educational director, Shelley Nossman, and to all the exhibits that we are creating that are not just entertaining for all age groups, but are for interactive purposes to where kids can come in and their families can associate with them. So putting that to heads to beds, we are actually now implementing free admission, and we are asking people when they come in, not just for their zip codes for demographic purposes, but what is your zip code? How many nights are you staying? 1, 2, 3, 4 nights. Does it fall under the heads and beds criteria? And we are calculating that to figure that out, and we're doing very well. And that way we can take the money that we're getting from the city or the county, and we can be fiscally responsible with those funds. And I feel like we're doing very good. We're expanding. Our word is getting pushed forward, and we're bringing more people into the museum.
Question for you.
Yes, sir.
Your increase over this last year is about 33% increase.
Yes,
I know
sir.
that there are things that you are doing that you haven't done before. What type of things are going to take up the difference in $75,000 to $100,000? Restoring historical things, I noticed something mentioned in there. What are you doing?
Glad you asked. I'm not trying to criticize on past administrations, but the museum industry as a whole throughout the United States has changed. So everything is becoming more hands-on, more digital, more interactive. What I'm doing, when I made that joke about my son coming in and using him as a guinea pig, that wasn't actually a joke, that's the truth. Instead of having a static museum where people come in and they just see something behind glass, they can come in and they can actually touch it. They can feel it. I have a lot of people working with the Army Corps of Engineers, the United States Navy, the Texas Historical Commission that do digital work. Okay. And so I was previously in the private sector. So I'm a marine archaeologist by trade, not a museum guy. So we would scan a shipwreck. So now we are taking that data. So when my colleagues, my friends, scan a shipwreck, we're putting that into a file. So you can literally go up to a computer screen, tap on it just like your phone, and scan through the shipwreck, zoom in on it, and look at it, you could see what it was back 150 years ago, 200 years ago, and you can see what it is today. And it just makes it real. It brings it to life. And I know I'm probably...
appreciate it. I knew some of the things you're doing, but I need to hear about that. And I'm going to take up somebody else's time, so I don't want to.
My apologies.
But thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
I'm going to make this museum the best that it is, and you guys will be proud.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bay Education Center.
Hi, City Council. My name is Sarah Faila. I am the Education Specialist at the Bay Education Center here in Rockport. Thank you for your time today. We are requesting $50,000 to allow us to continue operating as a free Rockport visitor attraction and provide free educational and outreach programming to Rockport Fulton visitors throughout the year. The Bay Education Center also provides free facility use for environmental organizations and state agencies to hold meetings. This in turn brings revenue to the Rockport Fulton area, as many of these organizations are from out of town. Some examples of these organizations that have already taken advantage of the free facility use are the San Antonio River Authority and the International Whipping Crane Foundation, to name a couple. We thank you for past funding to allow us to run this way, and again, we thank you for your time and for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Friends of Fulton Mansion.
Good evening, Mayor Jarrow and council members. My name is Pamela Black, and I'm the board president of the Friends of Fulton Mansion. And I'm here to represent the Mansion, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting the preservation of the historic mansion. This year, Hot Funds have provided additional education tour guides and customer service support to provide an expected 25,000 visitors this year with a quality educational experience throughout the year. The funds have provided continued support for our annual garden upkeep and its associated general maintenance. We've begun the beautification of the site to attract new and returning visitors, while also allowing locals the opportunity to enjoy the manicured site on a daily basis. In addition, we have provided our visitors with quality educational experience, including our school children here and throughout South Texas. We have busloads of children coming in from all over the area. Hot Funds have increased event-based advertising through newspaper, magazines, press releases, wedding websites, and social media. And we are currently negotiating for a billboard in the San Antonio area that should bring even more visitors in. Through the wedding website, The Knot, we have started providing a wedding venue on the grounds of the mansion. And we've had several weddings. We have 2 planned for August, believe it or not, in this heat, and several throughout the fall. So that means that they're going to be bringing visitors in and wedding guests, and they'll be staying in our local hotels and enjoying all that Rockport has to offer these visitors. The Friends of Fulton Mansion provides funding to ensure that all events are free and open to the public. We do music at the mansion. We have guest speakers come on various topics. We have movies for children. We have an exhibit planned for the spring on cowboys and vaqueros. We're going to be celebrating George and Harriet's wedding anniversary next year, and it's going to be a huge event. So we hope you will all join us at the Fulton Mansion, and we'd like to thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Rockport Center for the Arts.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Tourism remains Rockport's most important industry, and we are cognizant of the integral role that it plays in the quality of life of our community. We at the Rockport Center for the Arts and at the Rock are very grateful for the financial support the City of Rockport provides annually through the Hotel Occupancy Tax Grant. Please accept the proposal that we submitted electronically for our marketing plan for fiscal year 2024. I'm going to skip to slide 27 because there are actually 33 pages in my report, and I'm going to cover both the Rockport Center for the Arts and the Rock. Very quickly going through some tourism and program and event statistics, and then moving on to the budget. So in slide number 27, you see some of our programming impact from December 10th of 2022 to May of 2023 when this presentation was prepared for council. We are unable to really compare our data to any prior year since Hurricane Harvey because our facilities are so much larger and they're doing so much more in some new programs that really there's no apples to apples comparison between the present and what we think is going to be a very bright future in the past. In youth education, we have served 2,451 children from December to May in free family programs. Our Young Chefs, it's a new program, graduated 32 students in 4 sessions. Our summer art camp is projected to have 310 participants, and those are currently enrolled. We started a ballet camp this summer, and that serves 72 people. We have 30 camp dates and 3 very unique offerings, and that just points to one rubric in the services that we are providing our community and our visitors that has grown tremendously. Our adult education programs, we're bringing a master class series and bringing artists from all over the United States to come and teach workshops and classes in Rockport, and those activities are being promoted in nationally recognized art magazines. Our membership has grown from 425 people at the end of 2021. It says here 1,028, but that number is closer to 1,300. And it just goes to prove the heavy lifting that our new facilities are doing, attracting not only locals but visitors from across the state and the country. And also we've had 47 participants in our adult culinary classes. We've hosted 4 concerts with 400 attendees, many of them visitors from beyond 75 miles. Our public art program continues to grow. We have 20 total sculptural assets in our various sculpture gardens and in the cultural district, and we have 1 being installed in August. Can I get the other 3 minutes for my second item in the agenda? All right, let's go ahead and keep on going. So that sculpture is being installed in August, and in the month of September, we are planning on installing a sculpture between City Hall and the courthouse in the Celebration Plaza. We have 36 annual exhibits in our 4 galleries. Gallery visitors between December and May, 36,000. Visitors to the gallery, talks and receptions, and tours of the galleries, 1,450. In slide 28, we have the tourism and visitor impact from December through May. 17,000 total visitors from December to May. 52 almost % of those zip codes collected were from 75 miles. We too asked them, are you staying in an area lodging facility? And if so, how many nights? So this is really hard data. It's not fluffy. 19,410 nights in area lodging facilities. Total event guests since November 2022, 3,842. 43% of those zip codes collected are beyond 75 miles, generating 1,515 nights in area lodging facilities. 20,858 year-to-date total impact in attendance. And we are projecting by the end of the year for 2023, almost 58,000 people visiting the Arts Center in our programs and events. That would be a 92% increase over the prior year. Our social media reach, 119,000, increasing by 57%. Our top markets are out of state is number 1, rural tourism, and number 2, San Antonio 3, Houston 4, Austin 5. And then our digital impact, our e-commerce through our website has grown tremendously, 1,650 transactions in 5 months with $150,000 in transactions. In page 31, you see the impact from the Rock, the conference center, 774 total event attended since November of 2022. 10 total events since November of 2022 through May. 49% of those zip codes collected were from beyond 75 miles, generating 584 nights in area lodging facilities. Projected annual visitors in 2023, 2,542. And if you read the report that you just passed for the third quarter of the year, you will see that between the first quarter of this year, the first 3 months of this year and the second 3 months of this year, our rental revenue grew and participation grew by 86%. Our budget is in page 32. For the Category 4 Promotion of the Arts, we are requesting $250,000 in advertising exhibitions, the Rockport Art Festival, the Sculpture Garden, Spring Art Fair, workshops, and classes. That amount is 18% of what City of Rockport collected between May of 2022 and April 2023. And finally, for the Rock, $170,000. That is 13% of what the city collected. And I'd like to remind council that earlier this year, you passed a resolution to participate in the co-management of the Rockport Conference Center. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I went overboard.
Thank you. Aransas County Council on Aging.
Hello, I'm Mary Ellen Neese. I'm the executive director for the Aransas County Council on Aging, and I'm here about our one event that we asked for support on from the hotel motel funds that to collect. This year, for the first time in our 21 years of putting on this event, we were able to have the event downtown, and that was because the Rockport Conference Center and they invited us to come there and work with them, and for the first time bring the event downtown, which is where 21 years ago we wanted to have it but didn't have any place to put it on. So it just goes to show you that all things come to those who wait. And not only that, but after 5 years of dealing with Harvey and COVID, we were able to bring an event that was not only successful, but the whole community looks forward to supporting this. And they just come and they stay, and we practically have to shove them out the door because they want, everyone comes and visits. It's very homey and community oriented. The last year's budget for the event, we requested $5,000. And this year, we would like to get $5,000. We work with the Art Center, we pool our resources, and we coordinate our marketing program so that we get more bang for the buck doing it that way. And we spend the $5,000 on print, radio, TV, signage, website, and social media. So thank you for supporting us, and we hope that you'll support us.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Rockport Yacht Club. I'm turning the page already. All right. City of Rockport Contracted Services.
Mayor, first, Mayor and Council.
If you have your updated packet, the contracted services moves up to the top as a static payment. You have your updated sheet. Yeah, I sent it.
Which you emailed, yeah, that's up there. So are you suggesting we don't need to consider this one?
That moves up to, right, our expenses.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay.
So Jean is next with the tropical Christmas though.
Okay.
Correct. And Tropical Christmas is our largest event. I have not been director when this event took place, but it draws a lot of people. It's open to the community, and we've had a difficult time on these events because we don't charge admission. So it's hard for us to capture actual numbers. We're going to try and do better at that, and also where these people come from. But knowingly, I received a call the other day, and it's here in July, and they said, "What's your tropical Christmas date?" I said, "Okay, it's December." And they said, "Oh, good, I got to get my room." So I definitely do know these events do put beds in the heads and beds, and that they do attend these events. The largest expense for this ask is the fireworks that go along with the tropical Christmas. That is $35,000 worth of fireworks that we will be expending and making that expenditure for that event. Any questions?
So you stated 35,000, you said fireworks. What was why is the increase of 7,000?
To cover the expense of the fireworks, the entertainment, and other setups. We're going to have 2 stages this year for Tropical Christmas, the main stage like we've also had, but also a smaller stage to do some local talent and draws for the public. Yes, yes. And
Just point of
I
clarification,
apologize for...
It's the same ask as last year. It's not an increase of 70.
Oh, sorry, I read that wrong.
Unless I'm wrong.
No, I read it wrong.
Okay.
I just was confused by the 35.
That's fine, perfectly fine, so was I. Can I do my other events too?
Go right ahead.
Kite Fest is next. Very successful event this past year. I did participate in this one. 45-mile-an-hour winds to start off with. We had to get things. A lot of participation. A lot of evening people coming out, stopping, and who are staying in the area. I think it's a really big bang for the buck. We get kite flyers, professional kite flyers, from all over the area, all the way to Galveston, who participated, who come. And we also do, in conjunction with some of the staff from the Rockport Center for the Arts, do the kids' kites, where they color their own kite and bring it out. Very successful. I didn't think they'd hold up in that when they did. In the evening, we were going to have the night kite flyers, which in the past, from my understanding, has been a big draw for these people who come out and see them. The wind dropped to nothing, and they couldn't have it. But even as far as that, the entertainment lasted on until 9, and we had people mingling, people from out of town, and come and see the events. I think it's a very worthwhile effort. Any questions?
We are going to take a 10-minute break. We've been going over an hour, and I promised somebody in an hour we'd get out of here. 10 minutes, and we'll be back.
Yeah, it's on a roll.
And somebody was you?
No, it wasn't me. It was Kimberly.
You better make her happy.
Yes, absolutely. Oh.
I've written so many pieces of junk on here. That one that she said, we don't even have to do that one. It's required to pay that.
Yeah.
But
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's a lot.
Please approach the bench.
you certainly may.
I'm a newbie at this, and we're kind of old.
Shocker, right?
So we have a cheat sheet for the council members from
Okay.
Christmas on the Beach. Is it appropriate for me to hand
You
them
have
to
to
you
give them to
now?
Teresa. We're supposed to get them from her. So give them to her and tell them to give them to us, and she may give them to us.
We just were hoping you'd have them to look over while we're speaking.
She has to have them.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Our 10 minutes is up. We're going to start over again. If you'd like to come back. Gene, I think you've got the hooping crane strut.
So glad you could join us, sir.
Thank you for having me. She got even with you.
Hooping crane strut. I just got informed we have to increase the ask. The chief would like nicer trophies for his participation. He got first place. By the way, I got third behind him. I should have tripped him because he was running through it. And next year, very well attended event. The funds go to the Friends of Aransas National Wildlife Refuge. Why is that important? It is a draw for our hooping cranes, which put a lot of beds and heads because they are the poster child for the Endangered Species Act and isolated here at the Aransas National Wildlife Refuge. The event coincides with the hooping cranes departure back north, and so it's a well-attended event. Oyster Fest is also in town for that. It's a multiplier event. We had our largest turnout this past year, 304, okay, for that. And I signed up 8 elderly, my mom's friends, for this next upcoming year. They're ready to go. And so I think it's a very worthwhile event, very well attended. And any questions on that event? Okay.
Public art?
I think that's all of the events. The only one that I don't think we've ever asked for it is the event support event. That's very critical to all our events. We also do an Easter celebration, fall festival, our Memorial Day park service, music in the park, disc golf tournaments, baseball and softball tournaments. Bring these people into Rockport to participate in these events and put beds and heads. These events are very staff intensive. Brittany Elkins is sitting at the back. She's Assistant Parks Director. She is the event planner extraordinaire. We have whiteboards. We're mobilized for the staff. I think our staff does a great job of putting on all these events, picking up trash, keeping things clean, and doing a great event. So that is our ask for event support. Is very lean on that because there's a lot of planning of staff time that goes into that also.
Okay.
How many events do you do?
I didn't do an exact count, so probably at least 12, right? 12 a year. And I mean, we do so many other events too. This past weekend was Popsicles, National Popsicle Day. I keep looking for Brittany because she guides me on this. Ukulele lessons in the park. We've got the Zumba fitting events that go on and stuff. And so, although there's 12 maybe major events, we do a lot of other events also.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Thank y'all.
Public art.
Public art is my vision with that is for the new city hall to maybe do a little bit of a satellite art gallery, work with Luis, and maybe get some rotating wall art in there. We haven't budgeted for any public art or art in the public spaces. And then the money that I'm putting in there would be potentially to buy pieces that fit well with the facility. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Rockport Cultural Arts District.
Hello, Mayor and City Council. Jennifer Day, 902 East Cornwall, Executive Director of the Rockport Cultural Arts District. I also have our Board President, Warren Hassinger, with me. Thank you for your time. June 15th, every year, the Cultural District submits its required annual report to the state of Texas. It is amazing the number of accomplishments ARCAD has made the past 6 years since designation, especially given the devastation of Hurricane Harvey and a multi-year pandemic. Goals were accomplished with one staff person and a committed board of directors. I believe ARCAD is the only nonprofit here today requesting HOT funds who provide a hard monetary return back to the city, governmental entities, and arts organizations. Currently, State legislature designated $10 million to cultural districts, of which over $100,000 has been awarded to the Rockport Center for the Arts, and an additional $80,000 has been requested to support the 2024 Arts Festival. ARC had worked with Rockport Little Theater to get them qualified for future grants. Looking forward, the 2024-2026 legislative budget allocated $20 million specifically for cultural district development. These funds, available through the Rockport Cultural District, are additional revenue that fund local government and arts organizations that can supplement HOT funding. For example, ARC had submitted a $63,000 cultural district grant request on behalf of the City of Rockport for Main Street Park, the district green space that will provide public bathrooms, seating and shade amenities, an informational kiosk, and an art display area. ARCAD, along with strong local organizations, the Chamber, Historical Society, Historic Commission, and History Center, were awarded a national Smithsonian exhibit, which is targeted to bring in thousands of visitors every day for 6 weeks. The Texas Historic Commission added the unplanned 7th Texas City location because of strong applications. ARCAD, the only cultural district who applied, has a strong commitment from the City of Rockport, Aransas County, and the Navigation District, with written official resolutions of support submitted with the application. ARCAD will have its first Rockport Fulton commercial featuring local amenities complete this fall. The commercial will be broadcast internationally, a source inviting those to plan their visit to Rockport, and will broadcast on a brand new Rockport channel within local hotels and lobbies for visitors who plan their day's activities in Rockport. This month, Rockport will offer train rides at the beach park. Rockport is working to provide a discount program from local merchants to visitors, driving sales and residual sales tax revenue. In October, ARCAD is sponsoring the Texas Tea Party, bringing 100 1925 Ford Model Ts and 200 members for 4 days to this area. This year, Rockport will unveil a 21-foot cultural interface sculpture by renowned artist Steve Russell, a 450,000-plus project, which will be an international attraction. Just like the successful Kite Festival ARCAD initiated, which brought in thousands of visitors, ARCAD is planning a very successful Vintage Market Days Festival next year. Other planned tourist-centric activities are noted in ARCAD's Hot Fund request package. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Christmas on the Beach.
Christmas in July.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for allowing us this wonderful opportunity. My name is Marisa Zamora, and I'm the president of Christmas on the Beach, and this is Shiloh Mitchell. She is our secretary treasurer. Christmas on the Beach, COTB, is a brand new 501c3 nonprofit organization created just last year. It is a month-long drive-through Christmas light display along the Rockport Beach Circle with the primary purpose of celebrating the birth of Jesus while at the same time benefiting as many nonprofit organizations in our community as possible. Secondly, we feel it's important to offer an opportunity for all individuals and families in our community to create fond Christmas memories. Does anyone here remember when you were a child, your parents would drive you through looking at Christmas lights? We do, and it brings back many smiles. In our community alone, 60% of our children fall into an economically disadvantaged category. COTB offers a free drive-through for all of these families. We are a donations-only event which the participating nonprofit organization volunteers collect on a nightly basis during the entire month, regardless of the weather. Although vehicles can drive through the circle anytime after the front booth is open, we only collect donations for a 3 to 4 hour period in the evenings, We gather stats during this time period, so our numbers only reflect the visitors during these collection times. We had over 1,687 cars drive through with greater than 4,300 people. Of that number of people, almost 2,000 of them were outside of our 75-mile radius. There were 133 different zip codes from Texas alone and 57 zip codes outside of Texas. We counted visitors from more than 33 states and 5 countries. We raised over $8,700 and distributed a $547 check to 15 nonprofit organizations right here in our community. At the end of the season, we held a Bright Lights Awards celebration and joyfully distributed these checks. Our birthday party and Christmas celebration lasts for an entire month, giving visitors ample time to come and visit Rockport during the holidays. Our goal for this year is to increase our NPO and business participation to at least 30 and to keep growing down Rockport Beach Road. We plan on partnering with several local hotels to include them in our advertising in hopes to bring more visitors from out of town and out of state. Our little community will have bragging rights when we can eventually compete with Zilker Park in Austin or Christmas Drive-Thru Park in Cuero. I believe we've had a great start. As a brand new organization, we feel that COTB was a great success last year because we poured our hearts and souls into what we did, but we did it out of pocket and we struggled greatly. In order to continue, we need substantial assistance to sustain and to grow bigger, better, and brighter for the City of Rockport and the surrounding communities. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Do you have any questions?
Well,
All right. Rockport
Mayor,
Little Theater.
just want to point out, if they can do this in handwritten zip codes, everybody could be doing this. So this is really amazing. Y'all did good work.
Good evening, Mayor Darrell and council members. I appreciate this opportunity to make my presentation before you. This is the first one for me. I'm the new kid on the block. Rockport Little Theater has been around since 2000 for the most part, but we're a newer organization now. We have, as of 2020, a theater in the Cultural Arts District, a viable theater, an intimate little theater in Rockport, Texas, in the Cultural Arts District. If you look at the proposal I have in front of you, it's in 2 parts, of course. The first part being event funding, the second part signage. I'd like you to set aside the signage. It's of importance to our footprint, but it's not as important as the event funding. I'm asking for $48,000 to fund 6 shows, which is essentially our 6 primary shows during the year. Each one of those, expense-wise, if you look at the proposal on the first page after the application ends here, it's broken down. It's about $7,500 per show in expenses. We generate about $9,000 per show in revenue. That money goes to pay for our mortgage and maintenance on a new building. This is something we never had before. We would generate revenue and we'd roll it back into shows. So if you look at that page there, what I'm asking for, essentially, too, if you look at the proposal, we're basically only spending about $500 per show on marketing. We'd like to improve that. We use the Rockport pilot, our website, the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're starting to monetize our Facebook page and doing boost and so on and so forth. The proposal that I'm asking for is $7,500 plus another $500 per show. Now, any funding for any one of these events, whether it be one event or all 6 events, will be greatly appreciated. I will say that we're reaching about 4,000 people a year coming into our theater right now. We do about 675 people per show run, which is 9 shows. We do 5 or 6 shows a year, primarily musicals, comedies, and dramas. And more importantly now, we're doing our kids' workshops in the summer, our summer workshops. So we're looking at that as being one of our primary shows. We had a very successful one this year. We had last year 12 students. We're up to 20 students. They're all enthusiastic about next year. We generated quite a lot of PR in the community for that. One of the things that we're tasked with Rockport Little Theater is education in the community, not only performing arts, but also engaging the community. We are totally 100% volunteer and from the top down. Everything we do from the actors and directors to the board, to the committee members, promotions and so on and so forth. We're all volunteer here. Let me see. Demographics, I've noticed over the last year or two since COVID, the demographics have changed. Okay, any questions? Sorry about that.
Thank you, sir. We
You're welcome.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Wendell Family Fund.
Ms. Rendell lives in Houston.
Okay.
Sent her apologies that they were unable to attend.
Okay. Okay. Airplanes and coffee.
Good evening. Thank you for having us and considering our application. First off, we want to thank City of Rockport for your platinum sponsorship to Warbirds over South Texas over Memorial Day weekend. We're very proud of that event, and I have Mike Gear, airport manager, with me, and Jerry Brown. Just want a special call out to those folks. Without them, we couldn't have pulled off that event in 8.5 weeks. So we believe sets us up for a 2024 air show. That's what our application's for. It is tentative, meaning that we have not gone through full approval with the Airport Advisory Board and Commissioners Court to have a hard set date approved for an air show in 2024. So that is something we want to call out. But the reason we are asking for Rockport hot funds is we put almost 1,200 heads and beds per our surveys at our event. We had over 3,000 people, 2,500 I think confirmed, but we are getting lessons learned on how we collect sensitive data, because we have fly-in folks in airplanes and we have drive-in folks. We got the drive-in folks, we did not get the fly-in folks. So that's something we're going to have to work out from next time. But we are confident that we will be ready for air show in 2024. So that's our application.
Any questions for him?
I do have one quick question. The Airplanes and Coffee 501c3, if the air show doesn't happen here, does that nonprofit potentially take those funds elsewhere, or these have to stay here? There's no risk there?
You make an approval, it's conditional on the event happening here.
And that's our agreement with Airplanes and Coffee, is this is for our air shows. They set aside a ledger for us, and this would be our third event with that 501c3.
Okay. Would that be something we need to consider, and if when we go to funding?
Do we award the money? Yeah, they have to turn in their reports, and we don't award the money until after they spend it. It's a reimbursement.
Okay. So if the event ends up not occurring in the fiscal year,
It'll get refunded,
it just washes?
basically.
Okay. Thank you.
And we control the spending among our three groups, so.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
So now we're gonna have the big spreadsheet that y'all all saw last year, that Councilman Gloria, and, she'll get a quick lesson on the end. Oh, I watched last year. Okay, there you go, she watched last year. So we're gonna start with Councilmember Hatman. I'd like to go down and just, unless you have any questions for me.
I just wanted to ask the same question I asked before. Say this was all approved 100% for what was asked. What would that?
If you awarded everybody that was asked, you would have a reserve left of 404 days. Your practice is have 365 days of reserves, so you have more money than asked.
Okay, so we're in good standing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's where I kind of want to start off with that. It is.
Thank you for asking. I thought we were 289 in the hole.
No, we were.
Yeah, it changed. That's why I was trying to make
okay.
sure that was.
So you'll
set
have,
out there.
yeah, you have a balance of $1.6 million if you award the $1.4 million.
Got it.
That's why I wanted to put that out there.
You want to make a motion?
Why do I have to make a motion?
You don't have to.
I don't want to make a motion.
I was ready.
Keep going. Well, then,
Brad,
then do
your
it.
turn. Okay.
If it's everybody's wish to fund everybody fully, then there's no need to go through the exercise. If it's not your wish, then we'll keep going.
Well, my personal wish, yes. If we can be at the if we're at the forum in 4 days, I mean, I just want to say I think that you guys do all a great job, and I think it does bring a lot of heads and beds, and I appreciate everything that y'all do. So if I can fund fully everything that I can, I would like to do that. That's what I would like to put the numbers on. I'd make a motion.
Oh, there you go, go ahead.
I make a motion to fund fully all the requests, all the hot funds this year.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Have any questions? Before we get a little bit further, I've been through all of these things and looked at them hard. Our town has had problems since 2017 and the hurricane hit us. We had COVID, we had people died from COVID. We've had all sorts of issues. We've had flooding, we've had freezes, we've had all sorts of things go on that have given problems to everybody that is involved in doing nonprofit work in our community. And we have more nonprofit work in our community than any other community this size that I have ever seen. And we have never been, that I'm aware of, and I've been around a really long time, in a position where we could do what I'm agreeing with them to do, and that is y'all have put more folks in hotels and brought more people to this town than we have ever had before. And I think with the proviso that we know that this can't happen every year and there will be other lean times, I agree with what they're saying. We should fund everybody fully and see what y'all can do for next year.
Mayor, I think well spoken. The packages are excellent. There's still room for improvement in some, but we've seen progress being made in these packets. I would encourage those of you that have asked for direct marketing for billboards and out of town marketing, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas markets, y'all talk to each other. Like Bountiful Bowl, working with another group to say, how do we maximize these dollars? I love traveling across the state. I love seeing our billboards, but let's not duplicate efforts. I love special event marketing dollars. That makes sense. It's a special day on the calendar. We have to get out. We have to share that. But general, come to Rockport for more static not events, but museum or those kind of things. I think there's some opportunity that we can look at making that the best use of our dollar. I think y'all are doing a great job. Continue to enhance the way that you use technology to capture our guests. Louise, you've done I love your report. It feels like there's 50 pages of just great data in here. And that's other organizations can learn from that and work together. So anyways, I think this is exciting for us. I also want to thank staff for paring these down. So even though we're making a motion, or we're potentially going to pass all of these, not everything made it into the packet. So they've done a lot of work to ensure that the expenditures and the projects are eligible. And so thank y'all for that hard work.
I think what I would probably, just as Danielle said, utilize those funds for media appropriately. I did a lot of deep diving into this as it was my first time, so I did see, I do a lot of, driven by data, so I saw a lot of decreases in attendance. I think a lot of that has to do with what kind of advertising we're putting out there for certain events. So I do try to encourage, proper and wise use for these funds when it comes to advertising.
Anything else?
Mayor, just to piggyback on what you were saying, that we're extremely blessed in this community to be able to provide this amount of money, but I would also highly encourage those that are relying on hot funds that we may run into lean years, and nobody knows. I don't have my crystal ball. It'd probably lie to me if I did, but anyway, just know that we may not be able to do that in the future, but I continue with my second on that one.
Call for vote. Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
Mayor, aye. Congratulations, y'all. Thank you. Item 11 on the agenda, deliberate and take action to either draw or reject the community development loan funds.
Mayor and council, it is not community development loan. I apologize. It's community disaster loan. I always have development on my brain, so I just, I blew it. It's community disaster loan that in past years, I guess after Harvey, you guys were awarded the ability to have a $5 million basically line of credit or a loan to draw from. And should you run in a deficit in any of those years, the loan would basically be forgiven on those years. Looking and trying to recreate the history, I have your minutes and everything from past years. It appears that we budgeted off of this loan and we included it in our expenditures. However, we got notice from FEMA earlier this year that we've never actually drawn money from the loan. So we've spent it, but we haven't received it. That's the basis of it. We went through quite a bit of paperwork to see if any of this would now fall under loan forgiveness, and we were promptly told no from FEMA that at this point we don't qualify. So we can draw the loan down now, knowing that we're taking it at 3%, and basically replenish our reserves, which I provided you a graph. You can kind of see where our reserves maybe were artificially inflated or something over the years, but this is the actual each one. And that's probably where most of the money was made up from. If we had any leftover over revenues or under expenditures, it was kind of, I guess, used to balance out not actually taking the money. But now we're at a hard date. We have to have by next month whether we're going to take that money or not. The caveat of taking the money, it's cheap money. I'll say that. We can't get 3% anywhere else, but it does have to be paid back by 2028. So we have up to $5 million we could take, and then we only have basically 5 years to repay it because we don't qualify for any forgiveness. I can answer questions. I can't answer questions about the historical mindset, but I can answer questions that are recorded in the minutes because I have them. Fire away.
I'll start.
I heard a lot of deep breaths.
I'll start. I was involved in, I guess, going back to 21 on the history of this. I guess I would say that the good news is we never borrowed the money. The bad news is I guess it was just allocated out of the general fund. We used funds that maybe could have been used elsewhere. We didn't borrow the cheap money. We just used it on ad valorem taxes or what have you. I guess the good news is, but we don't have a loan to pay back. What worries me is if we draw on this loan now, is that it is due, the note's called by 2028.
That's correct.
So whatever we borrow from today going forward, it's a short-term loan. And
You have 5 years. If you take $5 million, you're going to pay
I got
back
$1 million
plus
a year.
3% a year.
And I don't see that happening in our future budgets, not without an increased tax rate.
We can't handle it, yeah.
So, I don't recommend us borrowing any more money off this. We made it without it.
And that's my recommendation. You can see in here, I recommend that we don't. We've done a really great job tightening our belt. Everybody has, the department heads have been more than willing to pitch in and make up the difference. I don't recommend it just because it's gonna hit us hard paying it back.
If we had, is there a project there that's $5 million or less that we have, I guess, shovel ready that we could do and borrow the money at 3%? Is there, and that would qualify for this?
Well, a project would not qualify for this because this community disaster loan is to be used for essential services. So essentially to get however much out of this, I'm gonna have to go back 5 years and pull what was used for essential services only, and we basically would be reimbursing ourselves.
Thank you. No further questions from me, Mayor.
I agree with what he's saying. I don't see a need or an emergency cause to make us create a need to repay $5 million over 5 years. It seems unnecessary. We're going to have enough issues with finding funds to take care of problems that we've got to deal with anyway without having to pay back $5 million that quickly. Can't see doing that.
You do not have to draw the whole $5 million, just to clarify.
Up to 5 million, yeah, right.
I have to agree with what you guys are saying. There's no need to do it. We've been functioning just fine without it. I do want to say, because we do have our finance director here, that I really don't want to see things like this come up so quickly, especially without budget and not knowing how it's going to affect our tax rate and how this is going to affect everyone in the future. I just want to actually put that on record. That's a little disappointing again, with these funding coming up out of the blue, and we're just kind of blindsided with them. So we just want to make sure that, you know, that when we're doing these things, we're doing it correctly from forward on. And again, just because you can doesn't mean you should have to get debt. So I just wanted to go on record and say that. That's kind of the only comment I really have to say.
I think, Mayor, that I agree that we don't pull it, turning around in a couple of years and having to pay back the interest doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for us to go in further debt. You know, maybe it made sense at the time when the former councils and administration, you know, had the best of intentions, but this is where we're at. So I don't, you know, we don't need to pull it. I think there was some public thoughts out there that I heard from folks thinking that this was project-based. Thank you for the clarification and what the funding was intended to be used for, what essentially we drew down. To Andrea's point, or Councilman Hatman, we've got to strengthen our grant management process. We already know that. You're making good progress towards that. Welcome to the team. So I think this is a good opportunity for us to learn how we can improve our processes in the future, that we draw down when we're supposed to. We make sure that we're accounting for those funds more timely rather than waiting years down the line. And that's not on you, Vanessa. That's well before your time.
And I would just like to say, going through the minutes, it's very clear that it was intended and instructed to draw down the loan. So that's not, anyway.
I guess in future, I don't know if this, Art, stop me if I get out of bounds here. In the future, budget and/or amendments or whatever we want to talk about in budgets, can we bring that to council if we're moving money? Like, you know, so we budgeted for the CDL loan to be utilized for certain things. Obviously, it was never used. It was pulled out of general fund, wherever it may have been pulled from.
So I have every intention of being fully transparent with you and the public. If we're pulling the CDL loan, it will be in the budget and it will be a credit and a debit. There's not going to be anything ambiguous as to whether or not it was taken or not. This, as much as it's a surprise to y'all, it was to us too, when we're trying to figure out where our money is and we figure out, well, it's not here. So the only thing I can offer you is you're going to know everything I know. If there's a surprise for me, it'll be a surprise for you, but I'll try to give you as much of a heads up as I can. And there's going to be some more things coming up that we're all kind of shaking our heads at through this budget session, but we're going to work through them. We're going to correct them. And then I absolutely have a commitment to putting everything out there. There's nothing, the business of the city is not a secret.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just going to mirror what Andrea said. You know, I think this is definitely an example that we do need greater transparency, and I know a lot of this was put on you and placed on you, but, you know, I think it's fair, not only us as the council deserve that, but, you know, the residents deserve it as well. I don't know if, you know, I know you have a lot of plans to produce that for both. But, you know, is this plan supposed to be an overall as needed update, or is there a way we can do like monthly reporting?
So our charter requires that you're given a monthly financial report. I have a finance director now. You'll get them. I don't know that you've gotten them in the past, but you will.
Okay. Yeah.
Just give him more than 2 days, okay?
We did get a few before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you were doing better on that.
And that's on me. There's been turmoil. I'm not a finance person. Kimberly's been keeping the wheels on and keeping me sane. You will get it. You will get a monthly report. I think it's required at the second council meeting of every month. You will get it. It will be on the website.
Yeah, it just, there's a lot of money that I feel like, you say it was spent but never received, pulled from here. Just like being the new one on the block, like what was this money that was pulled, 4.5? What was it used for?
Well, here we go.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Drainage maintenance, almost $1 million. It was stated in the minutes that $1 million from the CDL could be used for it, for repairing, cleaning out ditches, pothole repairs, anything of that sort, but it cannot be used to build new detention ponds. So it was allocated then for, hold on, I gotta find the right one. There's a bunch. 100,000 right here that Mr. Donahoe requested and was granted for drainage. Oh gosh, I had one that listed out everything. I'm so sorry. It listed out the dollar amount. I'm so sorry. I thought I was more organized than this. What it was intended to be used for. I don't. Sorry.
Councilwoman Rangel, if I recall correctly, last year we set aside almost $1 million for, as Vanessa said, it was for maintenance of drainage and streets. It could not be used for capital improvement projects. It could be used for basically contractual services to go clean ditches and fix potholes and stuff like that. That was last year's. And I'm trying to recall, Mayor Pro Tem, do you remember what we did in 2021, 22? I don't, there was something allocated 2 years ago, but I don't remember the amount.
But all allocations were under the restrictions of the loan.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So.
Because we were told multiple times, you can't use it for that, can't use it for that. You know,
Okay.
so it's kind of pigeonholed into an area that you could use it in.
We can go through here and there's several references for, we're gonna use it for this, we're gonna use it for that. It's not in one set of minutes. That it says this is everything that it's gonna be used on. 1 million for drainage is in this set, and then we have, I think $200,000 to $300,000. Okay, 100,000 building abatement from the CDL, 975,000 for streets drainage contract and or maintenance, HR software 30,000, agenda software no amount but pull it out of the CDL. And that's the only specific amounts allotted to anything. I have reference where you have it as revenue, 1,393,000 in August 2nd. It was included as revenue.
I remember that.
But it wasn't.
But it wasn't ever, there was never a receivable for that. So what was the money spent on? Operations. That's the only answer I can give you is operations. It was rolled into the general fund and used for operations.
It just kind of comes down, we understand that you kind of got this mess thrown at you, so that we understand, we just
No,
want to fix it.
we're here to straighten it up.
Yeah.
That's it. We just gotta fix this and go forward. I need you guys to make a decision. If you wanna draw any or part of the money and reimburse ourselves, we are on our revenues. This year you approved, our general fund with 132 days, fund balance. Our policy says 180 days. Hopefully, we're gonna make that up a little bit, this year, add a little more to it. We're trying to get back to that 180 days. I don't know that we've been at 180 days since Harvey. So it's been a slow game, and we're gonna continue to work on it. You know, I don't think that any tax rate is gonna be raised because of this. We're just gonna tighten down and fix it. That's all we can do, guys. I mean, that's all we do.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion.
Go right ahead.
I would like to follow staff's recommendations and not withdraw anything from the CDL program.
Second.
I have motion and second. Any further question or debate? I'll call for a vote. Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
Mayor, aye. Next item on the agenda, city manager report. Are you tired of reporting?
This is all I've done this week, so that's my report. Y'all got it.
Last couple of weeks out in that area, a lot of events, a lot of traffic, everything went very, very well. Working with a few residents, you know, getting a few things taken care of. Everybody's done very well, being receptive. Thank you again. So all's well on that side of town. I don't have anything specific other than the holiday was great, and I believe that everyone coming in, as well as that lives here, enjoyed themselves and remained safe.
I'm good. I think I talked enough today.
Ward 3?
Successful 4th of July weekend in Rockport. Is very, very busy. That's about all I have.
Kind of the same thing, it's been quiet, just the heat of the summer, so stay cool.
The Stormwater Drainage Advisory Board met and had an interesting meeting. We are still looking at coming up with a master plan for drainage for the county and finding a way to control it where it is used for where it is necessary on a priority basis as opposed to whose jurisdiction it is in. And the cost would be shared by everybody that needs to have the drainage work done, and that is something that is ongoing and is talked about once a month at least. And there will be workshops for those people to sit around and talk about how that will be arranged and how it will work. And when it is done, it will be something that we haven't been able to accomplish in the past, and that is all of our entities working together to take care of problems that we've got, and we really need to do that. So thank y'all. If we have nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
We're adjourned. It is 8:36.
Stand to go. Yes. Sure.
Somebody.